Parashat Dvarim. We begin today the fifth and last book of the Torah, Deuteronomy. A large part of the book is Moses' farewell speech to his people before his death. He begins by recounting the main events from the past. Some were good and happy, and others, well, more challenging. One of the most regretful events Moses mentions in the beginning of our portion is the episode of the spies. 10 of the 12 spies who were sent to tour the land before attempting to conquer it came up with a pessimistic report according to which the Israelites had no chance against the indigenous inhabitants of the land. Hearing that, the people of Israel revolted against Moses and God, and as a result, their entry to the Promised Land was grossly delayed. Moses acknowledges in our portion that even though he sent the spies at the people's request, he liked it. Quote, "The idea was good in my eyes," end quote. But the Talmud says that the idea was not good in God's eyes. So if this is the case, why did God allow them to send the spies? God had done much harder things than forbidding the Israelites from doing something God expected to turn out so badly. As parents, teachers, or supervisors, when someone comes to us with a bad idea, we often say no. But sometimes, as hard as it may be, this is not the right response. In some cases, we want to give others the opportunity to learn from their own mistakes. After all, how many of us have learned an important lesson from somebody else's mistake? Another scenario which is demonstrated in our portion is that when we know that the person who made the request is completely convinced that they are right, and no matter how brilliant our arguments against it may be, they are simply not in the right mindset to listen. We may have the power to force them, but it will only end up with anger and resentment. God knew that even He could not convince the Israelites that sending the spies at that time was a mistake, teaching us that if God could allow His people to go the wrong way, we too must learn when to say yes, even when our brains shout no. And one more thing. Once we say yes, and the outcome is as bad as we had predicted, we should still take full responsibility and never blame someone else for forcing us against our better judgment to agree. Shabbat Shalom.